All right, y'all. In addition to the Pacific Classic here coming up later tonight for us on the East Coast, coming up Sunday for some strange reason they have Sunday 1:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Jockey Club Gold Cup is running now. Mile and a quarter, $1 million purse, and this is probably along with the Pacific Classic the biggest prep, I guess you would call it, for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Um, we've got 9 horses here, but more importantly, we've got our favorites. We've got Sierra Leone and we've got Mindframe back to get into it once again. We got last year's winner, Highland Falls, coming back. We've got former Breeders' Cup Classic winner, Pegasus Cup champion, White Barrio, coming back again. So let's go ahead and get into this because we got quite an interesting field here, just as we did on his mother's side. Trained by Asmussen, ridden by Rosario. I don't know what's up with Asmussen and Rosario recently. They've just been kind of, I guess, complacent's the word I'm looking for. At least in these dirt races. I mean, I certainly I don't follow every single class, but Rosario and Asmussen used to scare you. If you were looking to bet against them, not quite so much anymore, but they're back here with Disarm. I got to say that about this horse as well. He just always seemed to be a notch below to me. But he's still out there running, competing. 3 back, he got a win in an optional claimer at Oaklawn Park. I think this is probably the class he kind of belongs in. He ran a 92 speed figure for that one. I gave him fourth in his next out in the Oaklawn handicap. Once again, I give him a 94. He's 8 lengths off in that. I just think the horse is outmatched trying to go over 100 speed figure. Next out, he was a winner. I give him it was a 107 there. But that was third place, 3 lengths out. He's really got to be facing inferior horses, I think, to be able to do that. His best race, I thought, was his Travers that he lost. I gave him a 108 there, so I think that's the best disarm you're going to see. And I think you're only going to see that kind of disarm when he's running against other horses. Maybe if Sierra Leone wasn't in this race and Mindframe wasn't in this race, and maybe you want to take out a couple of the horses. Maybe even Phileas Fogg banishing. Then he's going to be dominant. Some people like Disarm. I just don't really like him in this position, and just going to have to prove me wrong there. Number 2, Highland Falls. He's last year's winner. In these older races, you always got to look for this situation with these horses that come and try to go back to back. It does happen. The horse likes the track. He likes the distance. They can try to just repeat what they did last time, and it does happen. 5-1 in the morning odds here. He's ridden by Luis Saez, Brad Cox, the trainer. Horse is sired by Curlin. Mother's father's awesome again. Very strong breeding once again. I got him just a touch below disarm, but the breeding's only going to get so far. Highland Falls, competitive run last out in the Whitney. Lost that to Sierra Leone, but I thought there was no way he was going to win that. I had Sierra Leone going to get that win pretty easily in that race. I thought it had his name written all over it, and he got it done. Before that, he was in an optional claimer at Aqueduct. Got a win there. Like, once again, these horses are like allowance horses, maybe grade 3, grade 2, but coming up here in the grade 1 race before that, Breeders' Cup Classic. What is that? 9th place there, 14 lengths off. Losing to Sierra Leone again there. Once again, not good enough to get with Sierra Leone. He had that win in the Jockey's Club Gold Cup. Hey, I think if you want to play that angle and throw every other horse out, hey, I could see doing that if you're a big fan of the jockey and the trainer. But I think he's probably outmatched in this one. Number 3, Sierra Leone, Gunrunner Malibu Moon. Gunrunner Malibu Moon horse. This horse is always in the money. Started with Gaff Leone, switched to Flavian Pratt. He's been all over. I guess you say he really put his name on the map in the Risen Star, even though he was beaten by Dornoch in, I think that was in the Rebel. Not sure. Don't have it written in front of me. The race he lost to Dornoch. But won in the Risen Star, the Bluegrass. Lost a very tight Kentucky Derby, which for handicapping purposes, as I say, he's a Kentucky Derby winner. In a race that tight, when you're handicapping, you don't put a huge gap between him and Mystic Dan and Forever Young. They all were right on the money in that race. So a great race there. Um, Took out the favorite Fierceness there, came back in the Belmont Stakes, ran third behind Dornoch, who beat him before, and Mindframe, the phenom he's facing again today. Uh, Second again in the Jim Dandy there, lost to Fierceness there, comes back in the Travers, third there, loses to, once again, loses to Fierceness. In that one, Breeders' Cup Classic, gets the win. He had a super fast pace in that. For closers, let me say this real quick. You don't know too well. You just have to move him sooner and faster. It helps to have that pace there to gauge off of and to give the horse, I guess, the jockey, more in my mind, some incentive to do that. Because a dude like Bailey got a clock in his head, you got to worry about that. He knows when to go and the horse is going to run. That just proved that Sierra Leone can run that time. He got his record time. I give him a 117 for that race. He came out after that, kind of flat, third in the New Orleans Classic, second in the Stephen Foster behind Mindframe, and then he gets a win in the Whitney, where he doesn't have to face the likes of a Mindframe again. So now he's up against Mindframe again. I think that could be a problem, but this is a chance he might be able to get him. Maybe the distance bothers Mindframe. Didn't bother Mindframe before. When he ran in the mile and a quarter Belmont Stakes at Saratoga. So I don't expect it to bother Mindframe this time. Same track, Sierra Leone. He's just got his work cut out for him. Flavian Pratt. Um, they got the rabbit here. I don't think it's going to work as well. He's not going to get the 44 seconds like he had in the Breeders' Cup. I don't really think he needs it. Pratt's just going to have to move him sooner. That's it. Number 4 is Mindframe, 2-1 in the morning odds. Now versus that 8-5 in Sierra Leone, I think that could flip. I think you could see Mindframe at 8-5 and see Sierra Leone at 2-1 because people that know the racing and the big money bettors, they know Mindframe. We know Mindframe since he's ever been racing. He's big horse, big wins. He comes out. He's only lost to Dornoch twice. Who Dornoch, if it wasn't for 2 screw ups in the Dornoch strategy, which there was no reason to screw up his strategy, he might have been undefeated, might have been a Kentucky Derby winner. But when Dornoch ran his race, he was awesome as well. So, Mindframe, sired by Constitution, who's out of Tappet, of course. Mother's father is Street Sense. Very good breeding, even though I only give him a 4. I mean, I give these other horses a 7 and an 8. Sierra Leone, I give a 7. Highland Falls gets a 7. Disarm gets an 8. He just is very fit, very strong. Sovereignty is big. I mean, he just opens up. He doesn't even look like he's running that fast, and he's just taking down to those final fractions like it's nothing. I didn't look at the actual time, but he's probably got to do some in the 10-second range. He's just so big when he opens up. He takes up a lot of room and gets the ground going. Mindframe, he's a bit different. When he's big, okay, Mindframe's like Bo Jackson. Sovereignty, he's almost like a Shaquille O'Neal, like when he's a younger Shaquille O'Neal. He's big and fit. And journalism, oh, he's a specimen. He's the Adonis as far as, the muscular tone and everything. Mindframe, he's like Bo Jackson in that he's just good. He's just big and fast and he just runs and it doesn't look like he's putting forth a lot of effort. He doesn't look like he needs to. So this is going to be a great race because I think he should get challenged a bit more. But in my mind, it's his race to lose. Irad Ortiz Jr. Riding him, Todd Pletcher training him. I mean, when you look at his record, He's always in the exacta, not just always in the money. He's always in the exacta. 7 starts, 5 wins, and 2 second place finishes, only to door knock, like I was saying. Um, his top speed figure, I give him a 113. He closes very well. As you can say, when you finish like that, you're always doing it. Last out, Stephen Foster win. Before that, he got a win by a neck in the Churchill Down Stakes at 7 furlongs. But that 7 furlong win, um, once again, the other horses, you had Banishing, you had Bookham Dano, had um, why just slipped my mind the other horse that was in that one. You gotta let me know. But anyway, he gets out there and he just got it done the 7 furlongs without really trying. Before that, the win in the Gulfstream Park, a mile, and before that was last year. Second place in the Haskell, the door knock. Second place in the Belmont, the door knock. And before that was his first race. Um, so, or two races before that. Anyway, Mindframe to me should be the favorite to this. Best looking horse in this one. We're going to move along to White Abario. White Abario is out of Race Day. Now, Race Day is a tappet horse. Mother's father is into mischief. So you got to look, he's not riding him. That just kind of shows, jumping on Mindframe. Even Irad knows Mindframe is the specimen that he is. White Abario, while he has won the Breeders' Cup Classic in the past, won the Pegasus World Cup, he was at the top of his game. He does very well running in Florida, trouble running outside of Florida, and that may be his trouble in this one. Got a win in the Ghost Zapper in his last 3 out, but Met Mile, which was that was a very unimpressive Met Mile this year. But he was fourth in that one, fourth in the Whitney behind Sierra Leone. I think White Abario has probably seen his best days, but they're keeping him out there. Probably going to finish out this year and retire in style. See if he can hit the board. The all right, y'all. The 6, Contrary Thinking, the Rabbit. Chad Brown enters this horse in again. He entered him in the Whitney as a rabbit for Sierra Leone. It worked. 50 to 1 in the morning odds, so everyone seems to think that he's a rabbit. And I'm glad we can say that now. It seemed to be a little while where people would say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist if you say that a horse is a rabbit. Like, that's just silly. Just commenting on gamesmanship, those people don't belong in horse racing. This horse is a rabbit. It's a strategy that's employed by a lot of trainers. I always kind of wonder, too, does the owner of the rabbit get a cut when the other horse wins? I mean, of course you can't officially do that, but you would think there's some kind of backroom deal to say, hey, we're going to use your horse to lose on purpose to help this other horse win. We're going to cut you a little piece of that bread. You would think so. Horse is sired by Into Mischief. Mother's father is Curlin. So I give him a 7 for the breeding there. You could say he's a legitimate horse. And I think in a legitimate race, he could compete with the Disarms and with White Abario, and probably Antiquarian. I think he is in that range, but I don't think he is up to snuff with Sierra Leone. But he's entered in this race as his rabbit, and that's what he's probably going to do. Really going to push Phileas Fogg, the 7, who's coming up next, faster than he wants to or needs to go, or is that going to affect Mindframe? I don't know. The contrary thinking idea as a rabbit may not pan out in this one. Last out, I said he was 9th in the Whitney, 68 lengths behind. And you're telling me he wasn't a rabbit, right? Before that, he had a decent win, an allowance race, Aqueduct, mile 135-1. Before that, 4th in an allowance at Aqueduct, but he was 2 lengths off the leader there, 6 furlongs. So a nice horse. Obviously, he's got a job to do in this one, and I don't think that job is to win. Number 7, Phileas Fogg, the horse that I think will probably end up with the lead. Horse is out of Astern, who is a Medaglia d'Oro horse out of Australia. A lot of races, 18 races, not a lot, but a 5-year-old gelding, 18 races, 9 wins. But when you look at his career, the interesting thing about him is that they switched up the trainer, and Gustavo Rodriguez has been training him, and ever since he's been training him, the horse is got 7 entries, 5 wins, 2 second places. So he's always in the of a fan front runners. It's a beautiful thing to see when you can pull it off, because it's not that easy just to make a horse just run really fast in the beginning and then be able to hold on to that lead for a mile and a quarter. So it is a beautiful thing to see when the jockey can time it, because it takes the jockey and the horse on the same page to get that done. Uh, he's been training this horse this way. He got Kendrick Caramucci on him right now. He's been on him before, but the horse, they've been running up front very successfully. 5 wins, 2 second place finishes. Last out, he won the Suburban by a head. That mile and a quarter, 202 and 4. Before that, Pimlico Special, he was second place there. Mile and 3/16, 156 and 3. Went a bit slower there. I got a win in the Excelsior before that one. Mile and a quarter, 201 and 3. So I gave him a 112. That's his best race horse. As of recently, he closes very well and he runs up front. You don't see that very well. Some people like to call those super horses. He does have that super horse mentality. Does he have super horse talent? We'll have to see. I mean, this is definitely his toughest match since he's been on this run with this trainer. And if he pulls off this win here, he could be like a flight line. I don't think he's as good as flight line, but other people could start saying that if he gets this win here and is that impressive going into the Breeders' Cup Classic. Um, Number 8 is Antiquarian. Put his name on the map way back when he got a win in the Peter Pan Stakes. Went into the Belmont Stakes, ran 5th place there, 7th behind these better horses. They dropped him back to an optional claimer at Gulfstream, got a win. Bumped him up to the Blame Stakes at Churchill Downs, 2nd place. Comes out with a second by a head in the Suburban. Mile and a quarter there behind the Flayas Fog. Probably his best race, I'd say. So I give him a 107. Well, 107 is what I gave him for his best race. But decent race coming into that one, but that time in that Suburban was a 202 and 4. I think that's going to be probably a second too slow for these horses. He's a Pletcher Velasquez horse ridden by Johnny Velasquez. 8 lifetime starts, 3 wins, 3 second-place runs. So I think Antiquarian, like some of these other horses, Disarm, as I was saying, Wide Barrio at this point. Nice horses, contrary thinking. Not sure that they can really compete, that he can really compete with this crowd. And now, when you're talking about competing with this crowd, this next horse here, the 9, I think is a big question mark when you're talking about that. Banishing. Horse is out of Ghost Zapper, an awesome begin horse. Mother's father's AP Indy. Ooh, that is sweet. You got a Ghost Zapper AP Indy. That may be the best breeding we've seen in decades. Better than Mystic Guide. I don't know. I got to think about it, look at it again. But ooh, that is amazing breeding. I mean, you're talking about 3 Breeders' Cup Classic winners there. Ghost Zapper, awesome again. AP Indy. That's what you want when you're talking about breeding a horse. I give him an 8. That's all you can give him. I give him more if my scale allowed that. 15-1 in the morning odds. You also got to like those kind of odds with a horse that's bred that well. One problem is Jockey got off of him. Tyler Gaffleone is riding in that Nashville Derby. That's probably jumping off right about the time I'm get done recording this video. Huge purse, $3.5 million purse. You can see why people are bouncing around. I don't know why. That's why they kept him off. Jose Lescano is going to be riding him for David Jacobson in this one. Banishing is an interesting horse. When you look at, to me, you got to go back to that Churchill Downs Classic when he was Nice. That was a horse. The other horse I was thinking of that was running in that race. Lost to Mindframe. Came up with Nice and Bookham Dano, and I think it ended up being a 3-way dead heat. They mark him as second by a neck in that one. That race, much like the Street Sense, was a very telling race of the future. That Churchill Down Stakes was a very telling race of the future as well. All those horses, uh, stakes winners coming out of that race. After that, he ran in the Blame Stakes. Now he got beat by Mystic Dan and Antiquarian. Um, guess outmatched, I guess, for that one. I guess he flopped a little bit or bounced, as you want people call it. They bring him back. They keep him in Kentucky, bring him back in this Hanishing. Second place by a neck at Churchill Downs. Take him down to Ellis Park. Stan in Kentucky gets a win by a nose in this Jeff Hill Memorial. 6 furlonger, 6.5 furlonger. Then they take him to West Virginia for the Charlestown Classic. The mile Nathan 153. But I mean, Charlestown is I don't know. It's a very interesting track. If you ever have some time, go bet 4, 5, 6 races over at Charlestown. Not a lot of speed there, but you see a lot of interesting things. So he did get that win there by 2, 153-1. Nothing to write home about, but he got that win. And so since he's over here running against these inferior horses, since he lost in the Blame Stakes, he's bringing it back up. Now maybe he belongs in a shorter race. We don't know, but this breeding he's got says 1.25 miles all over it, so they're going back after it. Probably going to be more forwardly placed. I don't think he's going to take the lead based on the setup of this race, but he's probably going to be up there near the lead in a stalking position. And hey, I think if you want to take a shot against Mindframe and Sierra Leone, I could see where you're going to go with Banishing, or if you just want to throw him into some exotics possibly, because he's got a lot to like, and I don't know if we've really seen his best race yet. I give him a speed figure of 110, but I think he could possibly do more. Now, when you're looking at the pace in this one, the fact that they got a rabbit is going to make everyone think that it's going to be a very fast pace. I just don't see it. Contrary thinking went what was it, 40? They went 47 in that. What is he can hang? A 46 flat. I think he could do it and still come out in the top 3 in this race. I don't think he's going to push the horse that hard. And even if he does, I don't think it's going to matter too much. And I don't think it will be enough to push the horses I think will be the next step back, which will be Banishing, Mindframe, and Disarm. I don't think he's going to be enough of a rabbit to influence those horses to run fast enough to make it an issue for them. I just think he's really going to have to try to push the 45, 44 second range. I don't think he's going to do that. Brad Cox, yeah, he's showing some gamesmanship, but I don't think he's that kind of guy to just say, like, go out there and do 44 flat, whatever you got to do. Bath maybe might do something like that. I don't think Brad Cox is going to do that, so I don't think the pace is going to be that fast. 46-3, I got it. 110-4 in the 3/4. You're going to have Highland Falls, Sierra Leone, White Abario, and Antiquarian will be off the pace, and I think they'll have plenty of time to get moving into what will end up just being a respectable pace and not something that's too fast. I got them doing the mile and the 135 flat. Mindframe, I think, will benefit from that fast pace and get a perfect stalking position. He'll be able to head home, head past Phileas Fogg. I think he will be followed up by the 9 Banishing. I think he follows Mindframe, runs in 3rd place after getting passed by Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, I think, definitely the quality out of these closers. I think he tried to run down Mindframe, doesn't get there. I got Mindframe with the win. Sierra Leone running 2nd, 3rd Banishing, like I said. And in 4th place, I've got the 7. Phileas Fogg, I think he hangs in there for 4th. Gonna be outmatched, but he's a tough horse. He likes the distance, and that's something you always got to like with these 1.25 races. Is what kind of horses are used to going the distance. They like the distance, do well at the distance, and have done well at the distance recently. And that's Phileas Fogg. So let me know what you think in the comments section. As usual, I'm going to check out this Nashville Derby at Kentucky Downs, and then we got the Pacific Classic later today. And do not forget, 1:45 p.m. Sunday for the Jockey Club Gold Cup.